think the hard part about figuring out what you want your CV to look like is that you don't know what kind of job you're going to go for. You know, you may decide after 4 years, I don't like writing as much as I thought. Research 1 isn't for me. I'm going to go somewhere where I teach a little more and research a little less. I can handle 1 project a year, 1 publication a year, but that's about it. And so I think the best advice I can give is you want to have a CV that looks like you could go anywhere. And then there are going to be particular experiences that you engage in through your dissertation, through what Rick was saying, through projects that you do for a class or as part of a GA or whatever, that are going to help you articulate why you have even higher potential in certain areas. But you want to look like you're able to teach. You want to look like you can lead research. You want to look like you can philosophize about the important things that are valued in the field. You want to look like you're ready to do those things, and then have some other evidence like, not only am I ready, but I'm good at this. Look how good I am.
One thing about the teaching too, because I think what TJ's saying is good. You want to get a little bit experience of everything, and then as you start to clarify what it is you really want to do, you can really make sure you're qualified in that area.
And seek opportunities to do those things.
Yeah. But one thing for teaching, because teaching experience is important, and a couple of things that I would maybe suggest there is that I found is K-12 experience is really helpful for a lot of jobs, maybe not for all jobs, but for a lot of jobs, it is. And if you don't have K-12 experience like I didn't, I wasn't a teacher, but I did evaluation work in a local school district, so I could put on my vita that I had worked in the school district doing evaluation work. So you could do something like that, or you could do a design project in a school district, or you could even, I have a friend who is in the same boat trying to get some teaching experience because he doesn't have any K-12 experience, so he's kind of serving as a volunteer aide in a classroom part-time. So just something to say, you know what, I'm not a certified teacher, but I've been in the schools for the last 3 years working with students and teaching kids. You know, another thing you can do is ask to teach, you know, undergraduate classes at UGA, or sometimes various professors are open to co-teaching experiences. And I remember I would ask professors, say, I took your class, hopefully I did well. Can I help you maybe co-teach it the next time around? And that was valuable because I could see how an expert teacher taught those kinds of courses. And keep track of all your teacher evaluations, those kinds of things. If they don't require you to do evaluations, then you might send out a survey with SurveyMonkey to all your students, document it, because that helps to be able to show some kind of teacher evaluation. And then the other thing I would say too is, I think it's really helpful to write a teaching learning statement. And that's one thing that I did, which could be like 1 page that just summarizes your view on teaching with specific examples of how you have done the things that you think are important in actual experiences. So you say, I think teaching should involve authentic problem, learning should involve authentic problem solving. For example, I taught this course and this was the setting, and we tried to come up with an authentic problem for all the students to develop, you know, that kind of a thing. But being able to say, this is what I think teaching should be, and this is how I try to do that, gives really a clear understanding that you're thoughtful and reflective about your teaching, and you really care about being a good teacher. So I think that's helpful. That was something that I did, I think helped out.
Were you able to include that in your application packet?
I did. So usually I had a 1-page cover letter, then a 1-page like teaching learning statement where about half the page was kind of my philosophy on teaching, followed by what classes at that university I thought I could teach. So I would say, you know, here's what I think about teaching and learning, here's how I try to be a good teacher, and here's your classes that I think I can be comfortable teaching. And so I had like 1-page cover letter, 1 page on teaching, and then I had another page that was like a summary statement where I just said, here's my research agenda, here's where I want to go in the future, like one person on the panel said, my future research is going to focus in this area. Here's kind of a summary of what research I've done up until now and where I've published, presented, things like that. That's what I did.
I'm asking because a lot of places are going electronic now, and so they limit you to a CV and a cover letter. And so then you have to get creative about this stuff, how you weave it in there. And so when you, on your CV, when you describe what classes you've taught, you could also have classes I'd like to teach. You can put that in there, something like that. But you have to get creative about where you put it. And You want it to look genuine, you don't want it to look artificial, but those are important things. As you write those materials, you want to convey, this is how I would be as a teacher. And I'm effective because I have evidence that I'm effective. Look at my evaluations or whatever.
When you say get creative, could you do something like what you mentioned on the CV? Click here for more information about, and then have your web portfolio where you detail everything Rick just...
Yes, I had one of
A
those.
really good web portfolio. That was one thing I had too, and I didn't know anyone was even looking at it. I mean, I put it in the CV, I put it in the cover letter, said, you can look at my online portfolio, but I didn't think anyone was looking at it. But when I came here to BYU, the department chair, one of the first things he said to me was, nice website. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know you guys were looking at that.
Yeah.
So you could put a teaching learning statement on your website if you wanted to, and have it be there for people that are looking at your website.
And for you ed techers, go rip off someone's CSS files and build it that way so it shows that you're fluent with the latest CSS versus building tables in HTML and stuff like that. Because these are things we judge. Especially if you're going to teach Dreamweaver, stuff like that.
CSS.
You guys are like, what's CSS? Is it?
I almost leaned over and asked her what CSS.
All right.
I can tell you that being creative is good if you're in a profession that requires creativity. If you're in a profession that doesn't, it's also not valued. So you don't want to have multiple colors. You don't want to have strange characters, even though you might be in research.
Are you saying we didn't care?
I'm saying that it could work against you.
It could.
If you put, if you try to make it look really kind of cool, and you're applying for a job in our field, in quantitative method, it's not going to help. It'll probably work against you. Flat white paper with black print on it, no colors, really nice. Got a website? Okay, we can go to your website.
But that's because...
That's not what we value.
Exactly, and one of the courses I could potentially teach is on how to use CSS and HTML. So that gave me an opportunity to showcase I have these skills without actually having to have to prove I had the skills through taking up precious space on my statement.
So what are you going to be teaching that class?
What's that?
What is
Cascading style sheet?
Yeah.
not good?
You can do it, because we do
Well,
so much.
It's a way of controlling just the layout of text on a screen through one document instead of embedding it every time.
I think when I apply for a job,
You
I'm
can-
going to do this. It's good.
So what was the question? Am I teaching
Are you
it?
going to be teaching that class yet?
Uh,
The CSS?
Yes, next semester, 6150. I think I'm teaching that.
I know.
Eventually I will, especially in the studio, you do all that stuff. Yeah, so that's what I mean by get creative. I don't mean get flashy. I mean find creative ways to showcase how good you are with the limited amount of space that you have. Because you really only have one page on that letter sometimes, and then the CV, and that's it. So like I said, I have skills in Dreamweaver, for example, and then I can build in Flash, for example, and then I house it online.
No, I ignore what you said.
Yeah,
That's a design thing, not a REMS thing.
exactly.
Another thing that I think is helpful, and Al talked about this, about how really a lot of these fields, a lot of our fields in college are kind of niche, small fields. So the REMS field is kind of small, learning design and technology is kind of a small field. So there's not a whole lot of people there. So if you can go to the professional conferences as a student and get involved, maybe as a volunteer, maybe helping out as a communication officer for a division or a special interest group or something like that. If you can get your name out there, then when you go up for a job and they already know who you are because you've been at a conference a couple times, that's really helpful because the group is small, and so they'll recognize your name if you've been around, being involved, being active in the organization.
Well, excellent. I would like to thank our panel. Does anybody have any other questions?
I'd just like to say thank you, all of you. Thank you.
I think it's been a lot of worthwhile information, and we did record it. We had a number of students who wanted to be here but couldn't, so we will get the video posted so that they can watch it and we can continue to share this advice. But again, thank you, Dr. West, Dr. Cohen, and Dr. Kopcha.
If I end up on Tosh.0, I'm coming after you.
So just for that, I'm going to email the link to Tosh.0. So thanks, everybody.